All right, so I had to tell you something. Oh, by the way, first we got Brann Dailor of the band Mastodon on the podcast today. Dude, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me.
Thanks for having me.
And we're doing it here at the home of the sponsor, Scofflaw Brewery. You said you're a fan.
Yeah, I am.
We met at the Claremont, what was it, last Thursday or Thursday before?
Yeah.
Your wife was actually playing in one of the bands that was playing that night, Tiger Tiger.
Yep, Tiger Tiger.
And they killed it, man.
They did.
And I didn't expect you to see you out at a show like that. It was so weird. And then I noticed you. I was like, shit, I know that guy. It's Brann Dailor of Mastodon.
Yeah.
That's so cool, man. So how long is your...
I'm a human person, and I go to do things.
You're a human person. How long has your wife been playing?
Since before I met her. Let's see. She's been in bands in the Atlanta area probably since the late 80s, early 90s.
So she's known Mastodon for a long time. You said y'all been married.
Since before.
Yeah.
You know, I met her. She's one of the first people I met when I moved here. It's that was the first show that I ever went to. Was her band Lust was playing at this place called the Echo Lounge. Mm-hmm. It was over on Flat Shoals in East Atlanta years ago. It was the year 2000, probably January of 2000, the week that I moved here. So yeah, and I got a job at the Junkman's Daughter, like probably the week I moved here. That's where I got a job. She was my manager.
2000, you say? Yeah. I was graduating 5th grade.
Sounds about right. Same for me.
Oh, just exact same.
Yeah.
So
man, 5th grade. Oh,
5th grade. So my girlfriend. So I eat paleo, right? I'm you know the paleo diet.
Yep.
So I'm
from the Paleo Indians.
Yeah, Paleolithic person.
Yeah, they eat mastodons, so I should steer clear of them. They did eat. So, they ate some mastodon, the Paleo Indians.
Which is not good for you.
Huh?
Which is not good for you. You gotta steer clear. Yeah. So she made homemade paleo chocolate chip cookies last night when I was over her house. We had a big date night at her place.
Cool.
And so she made a big batch of the cookies. And this morning we wake up, and she's not a metal person by any means. She goes, "Do you think your friend Brann would enjoy some cookies?" And so I got some paleo chocolate chip cookies there.
Awesome.
They are delectable.
Okay.
If you'd like to partake at any point during, just snatch one up and grab it.
Okay.
And I was interviewing. Excuse me. The other day I was interviewing Tommy Vex from Bad Wolves. And we were just talking, and then I just happened to mention that we met at the Claremont. He goes, "Oh man, how the fuck's that guy doing?" And then I told him we met at the Claremont, and he's like, "All right, Jackson, they're going to be here August 12th. They're playing with Papa Roach and Asking Alexandria." And he goes, "Dude, please, when I come to Atlanta, can me, you, and Brann go to the Claremont?" So apparently we have a date at the Claremont.
In August?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll mark my calendar.
And you guys are playing May 31st with Coheed and Cambria.
We are.
You said you haven't played the Roxy yet.
No, we haven't. We've played just about every other venue in town. We played the old Roxy. It was a Buckhead Theater now.
Yeah, now it's Buckhead, yeah.
We played there with Rob Zombie, I think, on our way to the Ozfest. And we played the Star Bar and the Earl and the Parasite House and MJQ and the Fox Theater and the Tabernacle and Center Stage and the Masquerade, all many times, but never this new Roxy.
We were talking about how y'all came from Atlanta. You're the Atlanta band that made it big. You know, coming back from Collective Soul, Black Crows, and then comes Mastodon, this band that started in Atlanta, and y'all started playing the Star Bar gigs that were real small. I'm sure y'all have had plenty of times where you just played to the other bands or the family members, like in the crowd.
Or no one.
Or no one, yeah. You're just playing to the bartenders.
And they left.
And doubtful. And now
true story.
And now you're at where you are now. So what's that like to have come from a place like Star Bar and all these smaller venues, and now you're playing the Ozfest type things and all around the world?
It's pretty much the same, I feel like. My office doesn't really change much with the drums there. A little more pressure, I guess, when there's more people and, they have expectations and you have a lot of albums under your belt, so the set list is a chore to pick the songs that you're going to play. But all in all, it's pretty much the same. If there's no one there, I mean, I kind of pretty much play the same whether or not I'm alone in my basement or if I'm in front of, 100,000 people at Rock in Rio, pretty much the same. It's a little more adrenaline when 100,000 people are watching, but But I don't know.
I always say that to local bands. So I started the podcast on the side of my radio show at Rock 100.5 because I wanted something to make me different than other personalities in Atlanta, right? Mm-hmm. Because I think you can agree that radio people, some of them will say, I'm the radio person, here's the band, right? You know, you're coming on my show and, you know,
right.
talking to me. I didn't want it to be like that. I didn't want local bands to feel like, oh, we're trying to get on a show. So I have always imaged myself as, here's the local band that's kicking ass trying to make it in Atlanta, and here's me.
Yeah.
It's all on the same level.
You're trying to help.
You know, because I don't think there's enough focus on local rock these days.
Yeah, I would say that.
You know, because rock is by far not the prevalent genre right now, rock or metal, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
And so it needs that kind of attention where I go back and I tell bands all the time, it's like the Seattle type thing, right? You know, I think if one band can, you know, pull through here in Atlanta, it opens up that floodgates for a lot of bands to, you know, have that opportunity and to be seen.
Yeah.
And in a place like Atlanta, you know, it's a great place to do it. The music scene here is growing like crazy.
Yeah, it's always had a healthy rock scene. That's, you know, overshadowed obviously by the thriving hip hop scene, but the rock scene does just as well. I mean, you know.
What was it like for Mastodon when you guys were playing the Star Bar shows? What was the music scene like in Atlanta?
A lot of garage rock, a lot of I guess kind of just like pretty straightforward rock and roll, you know. Wasn't a lot of like mathy stuff going on. There wasn't real. It wasn't a real thriving hardcore metal scene too much. It was a little bit. It was a more kind of stoner sounding stuff, kind of in the I Hate God realm, you know, with you know, but with like Zoroaster and bands like that. There was like a good like crust punk kind of scene that was going on. Like Social Infestation was a band that was around. And 4 Hour Fogger, which was Brent's other band. There's a lot of like theme bands, like Lust was a theme band, and you know, you had the Star Bar was a really cool. It still is, but it was a really cool. When I first got to town in 2000, it was definitely like this kind of alt country scene that was going on there. Like Big Sandy and the Flyright Boys would play there. There's a rockabilly kind of thing going on there, where you'd get like Reverend Horton Heat would play like 4 nights there, or Lost Straitjackets, or you know, lots of that kind of stuff. Kind of alt country stuff was pretty cool, and they had the Elvis Vault there, and it's just a big scene for it, you know. And they had the Drive Invasion. Lots of cool bands would play there, you know, and they'd have cool movies and a car show, and so that was like stuff I looked forward to when you know, first started in Atlanta.
So what made Mastodon kind of shine through that whole scene?
I couldn't really tell you. I just knew, you know, I mean, as far as Mastodon's concerned, I from the moment I met those Brent and Troy, I already knew Bill. When we first plugged up and started playing, you know, I just felt like it sounded unique to me, you know. No matter what city it was going to be in, it was unique sounding. I didn't think I ever heard anything really like it. I mean, we borrowed from places, and you know, we kind of wore our influences on our sleeve, but it was definitely a fresh take on it, and it was a new sound, I thought. So I definitely wanted to pursue it, and you know, we're still kind of chasing after it and seeing what's new with it. But when it first started, I think the fact that we were all kind of very, very social people, you know, we were like out at night all the time, you know, hanging with people and drinking down at Elmere, and you know, everybody knew Brann, everybody knew Troy, and everybody was getting to know me and Bill. And so our first show, it was packed, you know, and just from there, it just really sort of blossomed, and the city really accepted us with open arms, like you could say, you know, because we didn't. It wasn't long till we were selling out the Star Bar, you know, which is, you know, come to find out, for a lot of local bands, it's tough to get people to come out and see your show, you know. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure what we had, but it was. I think it's always with things like that. It's a combination of things. It's kind of has to be this perfect storm of right place, right time, the right sound, and it just kind of clicks into place, and everyone is on board. And that was our experience here in Atlanta.
Well, Mastodon is very different in the fact that through many articles that y'all have done or interviews, you're very much an outsider type band. You don't, like, you're not locked into the genre of metal like most metal bands are. Because as you said in an interview that y'all have so many different influences, you don't want to, like, just be one thing.
Yeah.
So you're constantly sounding like, if you listen to your albums, it's very much a different sound on each album, a different story to tell.
Yeah.
Very, very much like a Metallica thing.
Right, yeah. This is where, each album is kind of where we're at. We don't really necessarily go into it being like, it's got to be heavy, or it's got to be this, or it's got to be that. We just see what
like Emperor. That album is completely different from any one that y'all had put out.
Yeah, it's just really just comes down to the passage of time, and we just, here's where we're at. This is what we're digging. It's really pretty simple, pretty straightforward.
Y'all don't adhere to most of the rules of making music as a metal band.
Yeah, we try not to.
But that's what makes y'all different. That's what makes y'all so unique. Is that you're not afraid to be yourselves and branch out, and you're not going to say, oh, here's what the label wants, or here's what this so-and-so wants. We're going to make what we want to make.
Yeah, we've never done that. It'd be tough to do that, I think. It would be much more difficult to do that than to just do what you want, It'd be much harder to try to make something that you weren't really sure what the person wanted, and they try to describe to you using words what they wanted, and then for you to try to go make that would be, I think, way more difficult than just writing something and being like, yeah, I like that. And then, from there you kind of put yourself through the ringer as far as how much work you really want to put into it. And, we work on it a lot. Sit down there and go over this arrangement, it's just not right, so we know when we feel like it's right, and we know when we don't feel like it's right, so it's a lot of chasing, what we want to play.
I remember I was searching. I've been a big Mastodon fan for a really long time. I love Mastodon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Love what y'all have done, and like I said, y'all give so much inspiration to a lot of Atlanta bands that I talk to, because you are that Atlanta band that made it, that is out there just fucking killing it. So when y'all were playing the Star Bar, people used to come out and just be like, oh, I wonder who's playing tonight. I wonder who's playing here and there, right? That doesn't happen much anymore. People don't just go to venues just to see a band they don't know about anymore, because social media is such an important thing with music these days. People want to hear you before they go see you. Isn't that? Yeah. That kind of takes away from the beauty of it, right?
It can, yeah. I mean, it's in one way, it's opened a lot of people. People are discovering music that they never would have, and because you can't. I mean, yeah, people would go out and go to a club and go to a bar and see live music that they hadn't heard of, and maybe get turned on to something new. But the chances of that happening were probably a lot less than someone stumbling upon you on the internet these days. So I think it's probably there's a good and bad side to both scenarios.
And I think it was a couple years ago, like 3 years ago, I was watching a clip. You called Seth Meyers a bitch.
It's true, yeah, but it was scripted, and we
scripted, yeah.
We talked about it beforehand, so he wasn't surprised that I called him a bitch, but he's a good actor.
Well, what was it? Y'all were
discussing the word niche or
yeah.
niche.
Niche, and it was a bunch of different people saying niche or niche, and then there's Brann Dailor saying bitch.
Yeah. I
was like, because I didn't know a ton about that world yet, so I'm like, oh my God, she just called Seth Meyers a bitch.
Yeah.
And like.
I've met some people that were kind of taken aback by it and thought that I just was off the cuff, just said that. No. I'm like, no, it's not how it works.
It's all scripted, pretty much.
You cannot be on the fly with that. Yeah. That certain, it's a. If I was a guest, it'd be one thing, but I mean, I'm a guest, but I'm the drummer. I'm filling in, so it was very much. They came into the room early in the day and propositioned it.
Yeah.
Are you comfortable calling Seth Meyers a bitch on TV tonight? I said, yeah, I'm good with that. If he's cool with it,
I'm pretty cool with it.
And he was cool with it. Anything for a laugh profanity usually gets the laughs.
So what's that life like, man? What is it like just going around, like you come from gigging your ass off all the time at Star Bar, and then you're doing talk shows, you're playing these massive shows that are getting sold out, festivals. Like, I don't think people realize how stressful that kind of life can be, or how much of a toll it can take.
I mean, you know, you get pretty used to it. I mean, life just kind of goes along, and you know, you play the big rock show, and it's fun. You high five and hope everything goes well. Get out there, do your thing. You know, some of the travel is kind of wears on you. You know,
well, it was Jonathan Davis of Korn that. Yeah, sorry, I was burping, and that said that life can get lonely on the road sometimes.
It is lonely, you know. You know, water everywhere, people everywhere. Not a drop to drink.
What was it? Do you remember what we got?
No,
I don't either.
Some kind of IPA.
Oh, we got the Hooligan.
No, this isn't Hooligan.
We did get I swear, we got the Hooligan. This is the...
yeah, that's the Lousy.
The Lousy. We got the Hooligan.
Okay.
Because remember, they were out of Milkshake IPA. So cheers to you, sir. I'm going to tell you...
Cheers to you.
Cheers to you. I'm going to take a break. I mean, she would just kill me if I didn't eat at least one of these.
Oh, yeah. Now, how is this paleo?
Because it's made with almond flour.
Okay.
Much healthier. Not bad.
That was good.
Yeah, for paleo.
For paleo?
Paleo!
Paleo. I'm not a, as I said before, the Paleo Indians used to eat Mastodon meat, so.
You're supporting people that kill your kind.
I'm not into that at all. They definitely aided in the extinction of the mighty Mastodon.
We went to, I was over at her condo last night, and she made homemade margaritas. She made a whole paleo dinner and paleo chocolate chip cookies. Yeah, I've been dating this girl for 2 months.
Sounds like a keeper.
She's a keeper, man. She got a good job, good head on her shoulders.
Good.
We're going to her parents' beach house Easter weekend.
Oh.
In Hilton Head.
Oh, sweet.
So, you ever been to Hilton Head?
I've been to Hilton Head? I don't think so.
Where do you like to vacation, Ron?
I have, well, my wife is from Florida originally.
Nice.
So sometimes we go down there. Over there at the, I prefer the Gulf side of Florida.
I'm with you.
Yep.
Florida.
Nice and calm. Big old bathtub. Usually if I'm going on vacation, I like to go someplace that's fun and relaxing, but also educational. So I like to go to like a place like we went to Cambodia, went to Vietnam, went to Peru. You know, I like to go see the sights. I like to see them UNESCO sites. You know what I'm saying? We were in Jordan last month to check out Petra and Wadi Rum, where they filmed a bunch of the movie Lawrence of Arabia.
Hot damn.
So I was out there in the middle of the desert, up there in Jordan. So because we played a show in Israel, and we were up in that region, so I figured might as well stay a few extra days after tour and check it out. So I slept in a Bedouin camp in a tent in the middle of the desert. It was pretty fun.
Where's the most exotic place you vacationed?
I'd have to say Easter Island.
Really?
Yeah, that's the most remote island that's inhabited by human peoples, such as myself. They got those big old moai heads.
Because you're the epitome of the human being.
I don't know if I'm the epitome, but I'm one of them. The 7 billion or whatever, how many?
I've never been out of the country.
Never?
Never. The farthest I've been was Vegas.
Okay. Well,
that's so sad, I know.
There's still time for you, I think.
There's still time. I'll be 30 in June, so I think I still got a couple years to do it.
Yeah. But it's, you know, the world is a fascinating place, and you should see as much of it as you can while you are here.
How different, though, would you say places like Easter Island, Cambodia, Vietnam, like how different is it from life here in America? Like culture shock.
It's not that different. The most different culturally, I think, would probably be, that I've been to, would be somewhere like Japan, where it's pretty wild, you know.
No.
Japan is pretty wild, kind of flipped upside down, you know. So those places are cool. But the more you travel and the more you get out and explore, the more that you realize that, you know, we're all pretty much the same.
Who was it? I was interviewing Richie Faulkner from Judas Priest.
Oh, no, Richie.
And he told me Japan has this huge, insane metal scene.
Yeah, they do.
How is that?
They like metal.
I just can't see
a lot of people there, so they like everything.
They have a lot of people. Mm-hmm. The diversity is crazy, right? I can't see a bunch of Japanese people just loving metal.
Oh my God, they love it.
They get crazy to it?
Pretty crazy, you know. There's crazier places. They're probably the most polite people on the planet.
Mm.
So, in between songs, it's a little bit jarring because you can hear a pin drop, you know. It just makes you realize how much people are just kind of shooting the shit while you're playing everywhere else in the world. But it's just like dead silence.
They're just like waiting for the next song.
Like, clap, clap, clap.
That's insane.
They're just waiting for what you're going to say, even if they don't understand it.
How many times have you all played in Japan?
I don't know, 5 or 6 times, maybe more.
That's insane. How did you get started playing music?
I started when I was about, how old was I? 4 or 5 years old. My grandparents played, my mom played, and just everybody played music in my family. So it was like, what instrument are you going to play, as opposed to, are you going to play music?
And how did you decide on the drums?
My uncle played. So
I've always said that if I can't play instruments for shit, right? I can't sing to save my life. Like, people think my deep voice goes good with a baritone. No. I mean, it'll shatter glass. And I can play the harmonica. That's about it.
Yeah.
But if I could play one instrument, it would be the drums.
You get to beat stuff up. Get your aggressions out.
But you don't play like a normal metal drummer.
I play like me, I guess.
So how many bands were you in before Mastodon?
Let's see, I was in Today's the Day right before Mastodon. I was in Lethargy. Those are my 2 like serious bands I was in. I was in a band called Gaylord as well. That's pretty much it. I had a band called Maniacal Rage when I was like 13 or 14. That was not really a band. Just kind of like screwing around in the basement.
So when Mastodon, when you started like getting noticed and you started playing more shows and touring, do you remember a piece of advice that was given to you? Do I have chocolate in my beard?
No.
I'm sorry.
I was
like, oh God, I have chocolate in my beard.
I'm just doing this.
Because my girlfriend wanted me to grow my beard out. She's like, you look so good with a beard. And I'm like,
right.
I honestly hate it.
Okay.
But I mean, I think it looks okay.
Luckily, my wife does not like a beard, so because I can't make it past the first like couple weeks, a week and a half.
After that, I
break out with acne and it's itchy, and I don't want anything to do with it.
Do you remember when Mastodon was coming up and you were nervous, you didn't know? I'm sure it can be a whole shock when you start like quote unquote making it. And like, do you remember a piece of advice that a member of a bigger band gave you that kind of just stuck with you? Because like,
not of a band, but it was right before Leviathan came out, and a guy named Gordon Conrad that worked for Relapse Records, our label at the time, he said, "Hey, you need to get a manager." And I was like, "Why?" He's like, we've been doing it sort of together up until this point, and he's like, to be honest with you, there's a lot of bands on Relapse, and I spend a lot of time on Mastodon, but we all feel that this new record, Leviathan, is really something special, and feel like without management behind you to sort of steer things, we fear that you won't get plugged into that spot that we think that you could be in, to get on the Ozfests and get on some bigger tours that are, that we could, get us in front of more people so that we could grow the band. So that, after that point, I started looking for a manager. So I was on the phone with a list of about 10 people that he referred me to, and I didn't really connect with anybody on that particular list. But during my search, I was talking to our booking agent at the time that worked for Relapse, a guy named Rich Hoek, who's also a drummer who played for this band called Brutal Truth. He said, I've been talking to this guy named Nick John that works for Slayer, because he was trying to get us, and he's trying to get High on Fire and a couple other bands on a Slayer tour. He said, I told him about you guys, and I told him that you guys were looking for management. He said, if you have any questions, that you could call him, and he would give you some advice on what to look for, you know, for management. Because I really didn't have any idea what I should be asking, you know. So I called Nick John, and we kind of hit it off immediately. You know, he was really super cool, down to earth. He was like the only really down to earth, regular person that I had talked to that was already a manager. But I figured he was, in my naivete, I thought that he would manage Slayer, and it was like one band, one manager, and then, you know. So I didn't think he would be open for. But of course, they're always looking for new bands, you know, bands that are working and bands that might have, you know, something going on. So after about 10 conversations with him, I finally was like, do you want to be our manager? You know? And he said yes, and, you know. So we spent the next, you know, 15 years with Nick John, you know, and he was very instrumental on getting us to where we are now. Unfortunately, he passed away last year from pancreatic cancer, or this past September. So, you know, that sucks. But luckily, Gordon Conrad told me to start looking for a manager, and we found him. And it was beyond helpful, you know. Not only did he orchestrate just kind of every deal, you know, the band ever made, like going to Warner Brothers and merchandise deals and blah, 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 everything that comes along with it, and plug us in with, we did multiple Slayer tours, we did the Ozfest, we did, you know, we got proper representation, you know, we became, we grew up with him, you know, like he made us into a professional band, whereas we were still sort of slugging it out in the clubs, you know, and kind of clawing our way in our van, the fart box, rolling around, you know, which we were in for a couple years longer. So yeah, but we also, he was a great friend of ours, you know, probably one of our best friends, and unfortunately passed away in September. And that's what we got this, it's called Stairway to Nick John, that comes out on Record Store Day, which is on Saturday. So we are, you know, we're putting that out for him, because he was a huge Zeppelin fan. So we covered Stairway to Heaven pretty straight up.
Man.
Yeah.
And that comes out on Saturday.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. When did y'all record that?
In October. His funeral was on middle of September, and we played Stairway to Heaven at the funeral, at the service, and our buddy Joe from Gojira was sitting in the audience, and he taped it on his phone, and we had no idea that anybody was taping it. When we got done, he was like, I taped it on my phone, and he said, it actually came out really good. It sounds good, like the acoustics in there. I was like, we might as well go home and record a regular version, and we could put out a 10-inch record with his face on the cover, and put all the proceeds to pancreatic cancer research, which is it's a killer, like, you know, I mean, that's probably one of the worst ones you can get, you know.
Yeah.
Because the pancreas is such it's just squished up there in the middle of all your organs, so it's hard to get to. So by the time people get diagnosed, usually they're stage 4, and there's not much time left. So the more, hopefully, you know, we didn't make that many of them, but hopefully they'll be sold out like that, and they'll all, you know, any little bit helps, I guess, you know, when it comes to research.
I will buy a couple of them.
Well, thank you.
Well, thank you. Let's say it right away. So I feel like an alcoholic right now. Because you're just sipping on your beer.
Well, I'm talking.
You're the talker. I'm just the guy that asks the questions.
I'm
you know, and that's like, I don't know why I've always done this. I take the tabs off.
Because you're a guy that does that, that's why.
I'm a guy that does. He's such a realist. So, and like a lot of people will think
I'm a skeptic.
Wait, do you know that Slipknot will be here with Gojira, Behemoth, and Volbeat?
I do know about that.
It's gonna be a killer one.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a metalhead, you're gonna be at that show.
I think you and I are a lot of the same. A lot of the same in this aspect, and our way of thinking. That I too hate how many subgenres there are in metal.
I don't really care.
I read in an interview that you just like, there's just so much of it.
I think that's good. To be honest with you, I think that heavy metal is probably one of the healthiest genres that exist. There's so many different tentacles to what Black Sabbath and Judas Priest started. You know what I mean? It's wild. Over a 50-year period that can happen to a genre of music, which is wild. I mean, it's all born out of the blues, but
yeah, right.
All the different heads that have appeared from it are pretty remarkable, and some of the most talented musicians that have touched an instrument are playing heavy metal music. So it's pretty amazing, and deserves a lot more spotlight in the musical sphere in general. I think it gets a bad rap, and people thinking that it's a simpler form of music, or you're kind of a meathead if you're into it, But I think there's some really smart, very smart individuals that are playing it and performing it. Like me, I'm super smart.
Well, Mastodon's done amazing things, so I think you are pretty smart. I don't know. But there are so many subgenres of rock or metal, and just kind of like so much jammed into one. So what is your opinion on the fact that because of social media and any rich kid whose parents can pay for it, there are bands busting their ass right now, right? That struggle every night, that don't get paid. They're basically just playing for free beer and get their name out there.
Yeah.
And then some Joe Schmo, whose parents have the money, he can start recording on a Thursday and put out an album on a Saturday online. What is that like?
I'm not sure what that's like.
No, I mean, like, does that take away from the beauty of?
Well, there's always going to be that. I don't think it takes away from any beauty.
No.
I don't know. It's definitely, as far as a genre, it's definitely something that you do just because you love it. It's not, nobody's getting rich playing heavy metal music. Maybe a few people are, but so you shouldn't really have that in your mind, anyways. Like, you should just play your instrument because you love it, and it's just get together with your pals, write some music that you love, find some people that you connect with, and then try to put the music out, and then go on tour. There's no back entrance. It's just roll up your sleeves, hard work, and you do it till you can't do it.
Well, I was saying, like, say a band like Mastodon, when you come out with your first single, people will think you made it overnight, when that could be farther from the truth.
Well, yeah, there's more to everyone's story.
Yeah.
You can't really worry about what anyone thinks, because who knows where they're coming at it from, No. So if someone thinks that we made it, we're an overnight success, then they're free to think that. But a little research, not much research, would reveal a different truth. So,
is the metal community, like, of you metal bands that are in the mainstream, are y'all close? Y'all, is it a close scene?
Everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
Up to the biggest bands. Yeah. If I see one of the Metallica dudes, we know each other.
Yeah.
What's up, dude? Iron Maiden guys, we know them. The Black Sabbath guys. So what I'm saying is it's very accessible. The people that play the music are accessible. They're all friendly. Everybody's cool, and the scene is as big as it is. It's very small.
Right.
It's a very small world, and everybody's very cool, and cordial, and friendly, and happy to meet each other, and excited about each other's bands.
I saw Metallica last in Birmingham. What was it, a couple months ago or something like that? Those guys. They kill it. I mean, they're one of those bands that have been around for so long, and I love those bands that have been around, whether it's I mean, not just metal, but bands that have been around like Metallica, Alice in Chains, Korn, all these bands that are still making music.
Yeah.
And still killing it. So what do you think of metal and rock right now?
Like
bands that are coming out.
It's doing what it's always done. It's kind of just chugging along.
Do you think it's cyclical that it'll make a mainstream thing again?
I'm sure it will, at some point. But it's always something bubbling under that you're not expecting.
Right now we have pop that's prevalent right now, pop music.
Well, yeah, pop is short for popular.
So Red Death, I got to talk about Red Death real quick.
Okay.
Your amazing solo track. No, it was. If you have not checked out Red Death, Brann Dailor's solo track, it's amazing. It's a phenomenal thing, and we are both huge Batman fans.
Yeah, I like Batman.
That's my favorite superhero.
Yeah, he's pretty super duper.
So I don't know if you're like me when you were a kid. Were you a Batman fan as a kid?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Did you have all the action figures and all that?
No, I didn't.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think they had Batman action figures. I'm a little older than you.
I'm about to be 30.
Yeah, I got about 14 years on you. So.
Yeah, but still, they didn't have Batman action figures?
They might have, but I didn't have any. The only action figures I had Star Wars. I had a lot of Star Wars action figures. And then He-Man. And then I was done. I was done action figuring.
My mother always has a saying that I grew up in North Georgia in the mountains, right? And she always had a saying that if she came down to Atlanta to go shopping, she could never start the shopping day without taking me to Toys R Us first and getting me a Batman action figure.
That sounds like me, but with the Star Wars or He-Man.
I never got into He-Man.
Yeah, it was too late.
Freaking loser I am.
It was all the rage in '83 and '84.
No, why did you make that solo track?
I was asked by Mike Elizondo, who produced The Hunter and handled our A&R at Warner Brothers for a little while. And we're buddies, and he was like, "Hey, we want to do this thing?" And he asked me several times, and I just didn't really have a lot of time for it because it was right after Emperor had come out, and we were just on the go constantly. And then we had a little break, and I revisited the track, and then I paid attention to it, and I wrote my lyrics and got my vocal hook going, and I was like, "Oh, cool, okay, ready to record it."
Do you have any more plans for more solo tracks?
No. Maybe sometime, but
members of Mastodon, y'all do your own thing too, side projects.
I have Arcadia.
Yeah.
With my friend Corey and Raheem. I'm hoping to fold my wife into that project. Mm-hmm. And then Brent's got a bunch of stuff. He's got West End Motel and Females Out of Face and Giraffe Tongue Orchestra. Lots of stuff. He's always busy playing guitar. Bill used to have a band called Primate. I don't think he really does much in the side band business anymore. And Troy's pretty busy too. He's got that Killer Be Killed super group, and then he's got Gone Is Gone, that super group, super duper group.
I love super groups.
Super groups are the best. They're just super.
Velvet Revolver, that was a great
Chicken Foot.
Chicken Foot.
Chicken Foot.
Oh yeah, from back in the day.
Or Chicken Foot, right? Wasn't that Sammy Hagar and somebody else? Chad Smith?
Chad Smith?
I don't know. Chicken Foot.
So the thing that got, I don't know, let's talk now about what got us into metal.
Chicken Foot.
Chicken Foot got you into metal?
Yeah.
Wait, is that a joke or is that serious?
It's a joke.
I was hoping that was a joke.
They weren't out when I first got into metal.
So the band that got me into metal was Mudvayne.
Okay.
And so it's so funny. I have a very conservative family, right? And we grew up. My mother, get this, my mother was the personal secretary for the Allman Brothers and the Marshall Tucker Band in the 70s.
Wow.
Like their personal secretary.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Cool.
So when she drinks a couple glasses of wine, she'll tell me stories from the road, and at some point I'll have to be like, "Mom, shut your mouth."
Yeah.
So I met Greg Allman last time he was in Atlanta before he died, And I went up to him.
I'm glad you met him before he died.
I know, right?
That would have been awkward.
If it had been afterwards, like.
That's my friend Patrick.
Oh, Patrick. It's okay, Patrick.
Hey, sorry.
And so I met Greg Allman.
Have a seat.
And so I was like, hey, Greg, by the way,
hey, how you doing, buddy?
I'm Jan Heaton's son. And he goes, that woman grew up to have kids? And I go, you shut your fucking mouth now.
Oh, my God. Nervous.
So what got you into metal, like, as a kid?
Let's see.
And I'm so excited to play this segment here.
My mom was pretty young when she had me, and she was in a band when me and my sister were really little. And so there was always rockers over at our house, you know. I think in like the late 70s, early 80s, my house pretty much looked like a casting call for Boogie Nights. You had a lot of handlebar mustaches, afros, and bell bottoms, and a lot of fringe. A lot of fringe was flapping around over our house. And there was a lot of partying, and because my mom's band, they practiced in the basement. And they covered some heavier stuff. They did some Priest covers, and they did some Sabbath. And so it was just kind of around, and it was, you know, in the very early 80s, it was very popular music. You know, it was like Iron Maiden was playing, you know, they were an arena rock band, you know, and so was Judas Priest.
Yeah.
And it just was, it definitely attracted me, like the imagery, and, you know, I think when I was about 8 years old or so, Peace of Mind had just come out, Iron Maiden's album. And I had gone in and stolen $10 out of my mom's purse while she was asleep. She'd been up late, and I knew that she wasn't going to wake up like early. And I had it in my head that I was going to go to this record store called the Record Archive that was walking distance from my house. I'm like, I'm going there and I'm buying some albums. So I got up early, I snagged the $10, I walked over there, and I bought Peace of Mind, just based on the album cover. And I bought AC/DC, Back in Black for 50 cents. And I bought Kiss Destroyer for 50 cents. So that was $10, just about. That was, it came out to be just about $10.
And that's what got you into metal?
That's where it sort of started, you know.
Value for money.
I did, yeah. It was like, I did pretty good. And I really just based on the album covers.
Yeah.
Because the Kiss one I knew who Kiss was, you know. But it was 4 monsters on that cover. And then there was a monster on the Iron Maiden thing. And the Back in Black was just black, just looked cool. Got them home, and I had a Fisher Price, you know, little, with a speaker in it, little turntable. It was a big fat needle like that. And I would sit there and listen to that Iron Maiden album just over and over again.
All right, before we get to the next segment, which is my favorite segment of this podcast,
what is it?
I want to ask about the new Mastodon album. What are y'all working on right now?
Oh, you know, at the moment it's just loose riffs here and there. It's kind of like making their way towards the egg, you know.
Yeah.
See what happens.
But you're all writing stuff and you're all collaborating?
Yeah, we always do.
When can people expect new Mastodon music?
I have no idea. I think there'll be a brand new song that gets released relatively soon that we recorded to kind of break in our.
That was something.
We built a studio in the basement of the rehearsal space that we have, so we wanted to try that out, and so we tried it out by recording a new song, and it came out great. So we're excited. So
my radio show on Rock 100.5, I have a segment, a 2-hour segment where I play new rock, right? It's called, get this. So I'm in my meeting with corporate, and they know I want a segment for new rock, because we play 70s through early 2000s, right, on rock. And I go, I want to play new rock. I want something that I can, you know, give them a taste of new music. And they go, okay, Jackson, what do you want the segment to be called? And I threw out a joke. I was like, hey, how about we call it Jackson's Load? And they're like, oh, that's hilarious. So now I have a segment on the radio called Jackson's Load.
It's disgusting.
And I know it is absolutely vile, right?
Yeah.
But I play Mastodon on there as much as I can.
Well, I appreciate it.
I played, first time I heard Show Yourself, I played it that night.
Cool.
No, so,
Sweet.
Yeah. Sweet. I just want to get new Mastodon music. All right, are you ready?
I have one soon. What?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Let's toast real quick.
Okay. Toast. Do you want?
You want a beer, Brad?
I'm in the holding pattern. I'm going to get a pint in a minute.
Okay.
I'm in the sweet spot.
Okay, sweet spot.
Sweet spot. The sweet spot's a good place to be.
And you're driving an automobile.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
That's good. I'm calibrated.
See, I'm driving an automobile too, but my girlfriend is meeting me here. She's Ubering, and then she's going to drive us back to my place, and then we're going to the Braves game tonight because she's going to meet my two best friends and their wives.
Oh, you're doing. It's like it's gonna meet the friends.
Meet the friends, and I'm wearing my brand new. So the Braves gave me a customized jersey that says Jackson on the back.
Sweet.
So I'm going to wear that shit.
Doesn't it say Jackson's Load on it? You gotta get load at.
Look at Brann busting my balls on my own podcast. That's a good show name. Jackson's Load.
Yeah, should name your show that.
It is the name of my show.
I know.
Okay, all right. We're going to play 20 questions.
Okay.
First, rapid fire.
Pass.
First thing that comes to your mind, okay? All right. This is 20 questions. You hear it all the time on the Scope podcast. I play it with every band. I get to play it with Brann Dailor of Mastodon.
Don Brayler, the drum doctor.
Wow, you really did a backwards thing there.
I sure did. Switch around some letters. That's all it takes.
He is a smart man.
Sound official.
All right, Brann.
Don Brayler. Yeah.
What do most people think about you that is absolutely not true?
That I wear sweatpants over my jeans.
They don't think that. I want an honest answer.
You do?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the first thing that came to my head.
Damn it, I screwed myself there. I said, what are two things you should know how to do but don't?
What's that? Speak Spanish and change oil.
You don't know how to change oil?
I don't think I do.
I've got to teach you that, man.
I know.
You have $100 to burn in the whole day to yourself. What are you doing? Let's go back before you were a successful band and you had $100 to yourself and you had the whole day. What are you doing with $100?
I would probably bring it to the person that loaned me $100 at some point. And I definitely owed them $100, so I'll just get rid of that now.
So you have owed people money in your life?
Yes.
You would just be the humanitarian to give that money back?
I don't think it's a humanitarian thing.
All right. What makes you say, what was I thinking when you look back on your life?
Chugging a bottle of Mr. Boston's.
That was a bad idea?
That was such a bad idea.
If you could only hear one song the rest of your life, what's it going to be?
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Whatever that song's called, that one.
What was your best drop the mic moment? Not like, like you actually dropped the mic, but like it's that moment in life where you just like, I did it, or bam, fucking A, right. If you don't like that, I have another question that could fill in for it.
I'm not sure I've ever had a drop the mic moment, to be honest with you.
You've had many.
Okay.
What high-level job do you think you could lie your way into with little to no experience and no one would notice?
I think I could manage a Papa John's.
A Papa John's.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be a successful Papa John's.
I own my own Papa John's. No, I don't own it. I run it. In charge of
you don't own it, you just run it.
I run it, yeah.
You manage the Papa John's.
For the owner, yes.
Everybody gets their pizza freshly delivered, hot and ready.
It's not really that good, but it's on time.
If Mastodon gets a biopic, what actor is going to play you?
Gary Busey. Post-motorcycle accident.
Wow, this guy really has the answers. Did you see The Dirt yet on Netflix?
Yeah, I saw it.
Was that not fucking crazy?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Well, you're
a little too workouty. Those guys.
You're in that scene, so I don't expect you to think it's as crazy as I thought it
I
is.
hate biopics.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not really a big fan.
So you wouldn't be like super excited if Mastodon got a biopic one day?
I'd be excited, you know, how bad it would turn out.
But no one's sitting in the theater?
Huh?
No one's sitting in the theater watching
Well,
it?
that's a given.
They're like, who's this band? Is this a local band that got a biopic?
Master what?
Master what? I mean, I know the animal from the primal ages.
Probably wouldn't even make Hulu.
What would you do if you only had a week to live?
What would I do if I only had a week to live? I'd probably be really sick and stay in bed. That's usually how your last week goes.
You are such an ass with the answers.
That's the crux, you know. That's the horrible thing about having a week to live is usually you're not doing well.
All right, here you go. Here you go.
Yeah, I probably watch a lot of TV.
Watch a lot of TV?
Yeah.
You wouldn't go to one of these
watch The
exotic educational places?
No, I'd watch The Sopranos again probably, or The Wire.
You know what I would do?
Redo
If I only
that.
had a week to live, I would just chain smoke cigarettes because I don't smoke very often. I have one every now and then.
Nah, you'd have your first one and you'd be like, I'm not doing that. I changed my mind.
No, I would chain smoke till my death. Like, I would just be like,
It's not good.
I know, right?
It's not good for you.
It's not healthy.
There's other unhealthy things that would be way better.
Would Nirvana
Way
be
more
as big
fun.
today if they just came out?
Yes.
You do think that?
I don't know. Like I said before about it's a perfect storm, you know. When something like that happens, it's it's just it's a time and place and sound that everybody wanted to hear apparently, and they didn't even know they wanted to listen to that, but they did.
Do you know Friday was 25 years since Kurt's death?
Yeah, Instagram told me.
Goddamn Instagram, right? You gotta love it.
Everybody, Mozart would have been 300 years old today. Happy birthday!
Let's all celebrate Mozart 300 years later. If you didn't have
Miss you so much.
If you didn't have to
Beethoven.
sleep, what would you do with the extra time?
If I didn't have to sleep,
Yeah.
oh man.
No musical answers here.
Oh, I can't sing my answer.
You can sing all you want because you also
You said
do
no
vocal.
musical answers.
Yeah, but that's not musical. That's just singing.
Well, that's pretty musical.
Depends on how you look at it.
I would spend my time singing in the shower. Extra time. Like I said, I'd probably look at Instagram.
Amazing Grace. No,
Pretty amazing.
See, I can't sing.
Have you met Grace? She is pretty amazing.
I met a Grace at Panama City one time, and she was the craziest woman I ever met in my life.
Grace Slick.
Yeah, she told me she loved me 10 minutes after knowing me.
She's amazing.
She is amazing. What is the most annoying habit that other people have?
Letting me let them over and then not waving.
Isn't that really annoying?
That's like that's a thing now. People are not waving anymore.
Like,
And I look for it too. I'll be like,
Yeah.
there's a wave. I know they did a whole Seinfeld episode about it, but
Like, if I let someone out on Peachtree Street near my condo, I want them to be like, and I'm going to be like,
you're like, I'm a good person. I'm going to heaven.
I want you to recognize that I'm a good person.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to recognize that you're
I need it.
recognizing my good personness.
I need to feed this narcissism or it won't.
What happened to manners, Brann? What happened to manners?
Yeah, where's manners? Right out the window. I guess people don't believe in God anymore. There goes all the morality.
We're just all an atheist world. All right.
Filthy animals.
What song, besides your own,
Rickroll.
have
What?
you completely memorized?
See, I'm really bad at knowing the words to songs.
But you
I'd
also
say,
sing for Mastodon.
Yeah, I know. I don't know the lyrics. I mean, I've really had to work hard to drill those into my peanut-sized brain. But let's see, what song do I have memorized? I don't think I have any songs memorized. Do you mean the lyrics or the
Lyrics. Yeah.
maybe maybe I Started a Joke by the Bee Gees. I'm started a joke. Yeah, I think that one.
What song can you play drums to completely?
I can play Watching the Detectives by Elvis Costello.
See, I just want to learn one song on the drums. I just want to be able to play one song really good on the drums.
Wipeout.
Wipeout.
When I was a little kid, when I was like 5 or 6 years old, my Uncle Mark said, he was a drummer, and he said, if you can play Wipeout, you're a good drummer.
Yeah.
So I went to my room, and after I learned the George in the Jungle beginning theme song, then I started working on Wipeout.
And now you got it down, right?
Yeah, and I think the first time I learned it, that would probably be my mic drop moment. When I finished learning Wipeout.
So we have a drop the mic moment.
We're gonna do.
That was true, yeah.
We're gonna do a callback, and I'm gonna say when I showed my Uncle Mark that I could play Wipeout on the drums, I not only dropped the mic, I dropped my sticks too. I walked away.
You're like, I'm done, bitches. I'm done.
I was like, I'm going back downstairs and see what Grandma and Grandpa are doing. I'll talk to you later.
When people come to you for help, what do they usually ask for? Not drumming.
What do they help? Not drumming?
Not drumming.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I'm good for.
That's no other help other than that. You're not an expert on anything else. That's really sad.
They're like, hey, what's it like to work in the C shift at a mini mart? And I'll be like, it's pretty cool.
Have you worked in a mini mart?
Yeah, I worked at a mini mart.
Yeah.
On the C shift. But I got robbed a bunch of times, so I had to quit. And then I worked at a porn store.
You worked at a porn store?
Yeah.
What did you do at the porn store?
I sold people pornography. And then I sold people tokens, and they went in the booths in the back, and they had moments for themselves. Little moments. They got a thrill, as they call it.
A mini mart to a porn store.
But you never got robbed in the porn store.
Never got robbed. A guy came in and tried to grab the cash register and go out the door with it, but it was plugged in. As
So
they
just
do.
fell.
They don't have wireless cash registers, so he couldn't get it out the door, And we had a little baseball bat, one of the little sluggers, I was just hitting him on the knuckles with it, and that pretty much went about his beeswax on to greener pastures, I assume.
From mini mart to the porn store.
And I painted houses for a while. That was fun.
You painted houses.
Yeah.
I used to own.
And I was afraid of heights, and my buddy got me the job, and I didn't say anything about being afraid of heights, but I was like, I got this low work. I'm down there.
I'm gonna paint down here at the bottom.
I'm good. And then somebody must have told the boss that I was afraid of heights because we all got in a circle on payday, and he's handing out checks to everybody, and he's like all out of checks, and looks at me and goes, Brann, where's your check? And I was like, I couldn't tell you that. I think that's you would know, not me. And he looked up, and it was at the top, taped to the top of a 40-foot ladder that was fully extended. And he's like, looks like it's flapping in the wind up there. Better get up there and get it.
And what did you say? No, that's fine.
I like this job. I'll do it for free. I went up there and got it, and then from then on, I did all the high work.
You were not afraid of heights anymore.
I was afraid of heights.
But
they made me do all the high work. They were like they were going to break me like some wild horse.
Are you still afraid of heights?
Huh?
Are you still afraid of heights?
I'm afraid of falling.
I think we're all afraid of falling.
I don't mind being up.
No one wants to fall. Who's going to be like, man, I hope I fall today?
If I fall, I want it to be from like right here, like on the ground.
2-foot drop.
And even then, I don't want to fall.
What would be your first question after waking up from being cryogenically frozen for 100 years?
I would ask, why the fuck did I have my? Why did I do this to myself? More of this,
More of this?
Yeah.
What is that?
I think when it's time to go, it's time to go. I don't want to come back. It's ridiculous. What's Walt Disney gonna do? It's just his head, right? That's ridiculous.
Do you accept that fact? When it's your time to go, it's time to go?
No, I don't think it's any kind of I don't believe in well, it was your time to go. I don't know. I mean,
it's your time.
I'm afraid of death as much as the next guy.
I don't think he should be revived by to be like cockroach dogs.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be
You
good.
don't wake up and you're the only human.
Because if you think 100 years back,
Yeah.
and then the people that were alive at that point in time, and then waking up right now, it would. I don't even know.
Yeah.
You just would blow your mind. No. You'd wish you were dead, because it was just too much to handle. But yeah, I think that when it's over, it's over. But it's not a fun thing to ponder. No. Being tapped on the shoulder and not only told that you have to leave the party, but that the party is going to go on without you.
That's the worst thing.
The saddest thing to think about.
The party goes on without you.
It does.
All right, let's go with one more. You ready?
Okay.
What would you rate an absolute 10 out of 10? Anything in life, whatever it is, it doesn't matter if it's an experience, a song, playing a concert, I don't care what it is. What's an absolute 10 out of 10 for you in life?
I'd say winning a Grammy was a 10 out of 10. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it to anyone watching or listening. If you can go win a Grammy, you should go do that because it is fun.
What is that like? What was that like?
I just told you, it's a 10 out of 10 experience, life experience.
Like, what's it like standing on stage accepting a Grammy?
Well, that part's really scary.
Really?
Yeah, because there's a bunch of people that are there, and it's the untelevised part. So a lot of people are just in there because they're tired of standing, and they're just waiting for their...
Because, of course, metal doesn't get televised on the Grammys.
Well, most of the Grammys don't get televised.
Yeah.
There's like almost 100 Grammys get given out every year, and they only televise about 7 or 8 of them.
Yeah.
So, I don't have any real issue with that, you know. It's whatever. It'd be cool if they were televised, but what are you gonna do?
No.
They're trying to get people to watch their network, so heavy metal's not gonna do that. It did in the 80s.
Goddamn shame.
It did in the 80s because heavy metal was very, very popular.
No.
It is not as popular anymore, you know. But those bands are still very popular. Like Metallica was the reason that the Grammy for heavy metal was invented in the first place.
Do you remember the 90s when Jethro Tull won over Metallica in heavy metal performance?
I don't think
91.
Anybody would forget that, and I think the Grammys are pretty bummed that no one will forget that. But I feel worse for Jethro Tull than I do Metallica, you know, because Jethro Tull is extremely talented and worthy of a Grammy award, like many other groups that haven't been given one. But to win one and then to hear nothing but shit about it for however many years that you didn't deserve it and this other band deserved it is a bummer for those guys, I think. For what's his name? Ian Anderson?
Yeah.
It's a bummer for those guys. I mean, you know, because they're not, you know, it's because now your Grammy comes with this little bit of shame. Almost like when Carrot Top won, he won some honor over like Bill Hicks or something like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? And he's like walking to the podium to get that award was like, what am I doing? Like, I don't deserve this, you know? Yeah. So that's a bummer, you know?
All right, last question, then we're done. What would advice, and I could talk to you for hours, and I want to talk to you again. I want to have you on again on the Skoda podcast. And what advice
This smells like weed. This beer smells like weed.
The hooligan? I'm going to take a piss.
Smell that.
What advice would you give to a metal band that's starting out right now?
Turn around.
Turn around and run the other way.
No.
That's what I tell radio people, that college kids that want to get into radio. I'm like, just do something else.
No, I mean, I would say, you know, and this just goes for not necessarily metal, but just music in general, you know, should be something that you create because you love it and don't really expect anything out of it other than the joy you get from performing music for people, playing live, and creating music with your friends. If you have any lofty expectations about what's going to happen, then you're probably going to be disappointed because there's such a small percentage of bands that actually, like, you know, make it quote unquote big or are successful enough to even just support themselves by their music, you know. Especially these days when it really kind of relies on you need to be out on tour working or you're not putting food on the table, you know. So I would say just do because you love it, and don't expect anything. And there is no back entrance.
No.
That you have to roll
your
sleeves.
You just have to grind.
And do it. And if you're going to be playing heavy metal music, it's even more work.
Yeah.
Because,
What if you're like a heavy metal band and you're in your 60s and you're just starting out? What advice would you give to?
The same exact advice.
Well, Brann Dailor, Mastodon, brother, thank you so much for coming on.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And next time you come on the podcast, will you do one thing for me?
Okay.
Will you wear something tight?
What do you mean?
Wear something tight, baby.
Okay.
That's not tight.
All right, I'll wear a leotard next time.
Wear a leotard.
All right.
All right. Thank you always.
Hey, thanks to Scofflaw.
Thank you to Scofflaw, as always, for the beers and for sponsoring the Scode podcast. Brann Dailor, Mastodon. Bam. Finish that last bite of cookie.